That's fine. Yeah. I'll turn the light down. That's it. You've got the recording out too.
Just put it to you first. Oh, thank you. Okay, as mentioned, my name is Silvia. I'm very humbled to be standing here in a room full of technical people that are so skilled in what they do, but I suppose I hope I can bring you a point of difference to how somebody who's very technophobe uses Infusionsoft. At least I'm taking this, and I've called this presentation my 180 days with Infusionsoft. Primarily is that I'm not technical with what I do, but I suppose if there's one thing I do understand is branding, and I do understand my customer base. The business that I run is very much about serving communities. At the present moment, the community I serve is in Sydney and its surrounding areas, and we provide, from Silvia gluten-free cuisine. Tess, can you get onto this next slide? Very simply, what we do is that we actually produce freshly produced baked and handmade premium foods products in a dedicated gluten-free kitchen. Now, when we first started, the concept first started, oh golly, probably about 18 years ago. When I first started the concept and started talking about the project, people says, "You're nuts, you're going to go broke." Today, people say to me, "That's so smart, you're so smart." I have to say, nothing has changed. I'm still doing the same thing, and I suppose I'm just needing to chart the time when I become silly again. So perhaps we just have to ride that time clock very, very carefully. For us, the three key things, as I said, it's really understanding the people that you serve, and secondly is being able to reach a wider audience. The business that I do is very niche. I have a very personal relationship with the customers that I look after. They all have my text, my number, my mobile. They ring through orders, they phone me orders, and so therefore, as I said, I've come from a very, very simple and very humble space to take people that do that to when people will actually go online. And I suppose if there was a little milestone that I've actually been able to achieve since starting with Infusionsoft is that I had to bring help, by the way. I had to bring help because this is just too much for me. And when I did, she built a website, she built an online shop, to the point there where now people who blog have found me. And so their followers are now going online and shopping. So for me, that's a huge thing because, as I said, from having that sort of personal one-on-one basis to having someone who absolutely doesn't know anything about you, to be able to shop online is for me, it's a big step. Anyway, so the next slide. Obviously, even though we're a humble business, when I first started, I had a vision for this business. It is a local business, it's always meant to be a local, but I actually had visions of something that's probably a little bit bigger than I am, and probably, hopefully, a global organisation that can be put together. I'm just going to give you, I've asked Tess, because the business, I'm very interactive because I'm not so sort of high tech. I thought, well, okay, let me show you what I can do. As a business, one of the things from Silvia is that we're wanting to, we're hoping to be a leading brand and a leading authority in the market segment and revolutionise the way that people think about gluten-free foods. Now, I suppose in some ways, when I first started gluten-free food, it's like, oh my gosh, my poor cousin, she has to eat gluten-free and it's just really awful stuff, I feel sorry for her. And for me, it's about bringing something to the marketplace that people go, wow, this is fabulous, what is it? Without saying, oh my gosh, is it gluten-free? I can't believe, are you sure? When I started the business, people would say, are you sure this is gluten-free? This is not gluten-free food. I just want to bring you samples because I thought by this time you could be a little bit hungry, you might need a bit of a hit. But second too, as I said, it's about experiencing, because food is all about the experience, and the whole business that we run is all about the customer's experience. So therefore, given the fact that I am so inadequate with technical stuff, I wanted to make sure that the tool that we chose, and in this case we chose Infusionsoft, that it had to provide my customers with the personal experience that they have obviously grown to trust. That was very important. Can you go back to the other slide? The other thing is that we want to make sure that we are the business that gluten-free food not only is accepted in the broader community but also desirable. One of the things that the benchmarks that I have is, for example, when I meet somebody and they go, oh gosh, oh yes, all the mothers at the school talk about your food because we've got kids that can't eat nut-free and whatever, etc. To me, that's my measure. They go, okay, that's working, that it is actually desirable. And also when people, when they come along and they purchase our foods, not because it's gluten-free, but because it's it's fabulous, it tastes great, you know, to really, that's where, you know, that's the vision that we had. And also the fact that it's very important for us that the quality, it's healthy, and it's gourmet. It's a gourmet option. From going for things like gluten-free, oh my God, these are things that fall apart and they're awful tasting stuff, to being absolutely desirable. What you're eating at the moment, you probably all have had different goodies, but if you've got a Belgian brownie that has no nuts, it has added no sugar, right? But the thing is that, look, it doesn't have to be, I wanted something that tasted fabulous, that it just had all those extra benefits, I suppose. And if you've got a Frion, there's no sugar in that, it's just honey. If you've got a cookie, a chocolate chip cookie there, it's actually got no refined sugar. It's just raisins, which are actually, we bake that into a pulp, and then we add organic brown rice. So it is a chocolate chip cookie, but it's, you know, it has all these extra benefits that, of course, as parents, they love it because the kids take it to school and they go, all right, it's healthy, it's okay for them. Right,
Sorry.
what have I done?
Sorry, I was just trying to go to the. I just wanted to give a snapshot of the website.
Oh, okay.
Tastes incredible.
Incredible. Oh, that's great. I just want to make sure that the food, I said that you taste is to the level of what Infusionsoft is all about. And that's, for me, that was one of the things that obviously, as I said, you know, my expertise is what I do. With the tools that I wanted to bring into the business, it had to be of quality. It had to be able to do what I do in the food business, if that makes it like one of those matching situations. I'm not crazy about what's the word, having my picture on, but people, the experts tell me that, you know, Silvia, you've got a business called From Silvia, they've got to have a face there. So. What are we showing there, Tess?
I was just wanting to show the Christmas special.
Oh, okay.
Just like
Yeah, so for example, you know, this is now Christmas. This is sort of, but I'll come back to that in a minute. Can we go back to the other slide? Sorry, just the next slide. So the things that we do, as I said, you know, hopefully they what's the word? They have that appeal that you just want to eat because it's so yummy. The customers that we look after at the present moment, I break them into three categories, and it's very important because obviously using the Infusion software, I've got to approach different segments. One of the things that I feel very strongly is that Infusionsoft is a tool, and to me, the way I look at that, it's a bit like having this exceptional violin or this fabulous car, right? If you can't drive the car beautifully, well, it's only going to be as good as I am. You know, if I'm a learner with the violin and I've got the super duper violin, I can only do what I can do, and I can only get better. So with Infusionsoft, you know, of course the art is actually to outsource, but at this point in time, I actually have to learn a little bit more about it so that I can actually brief people well. If I don't understand what it can actually do, then I won't be able to brief it correctly. But basically, I have 3 levels of customer base, and I do my customers very well. I do, and for me, I suppose it's not about getting leads, it's more about accessing, which is quite different. It's about accessing people, and how I can deliver the products easier. And that's been the issue. I mean, I've had what I call a Where's Wally campaign, is that people get so excited when they find me, and now that hopefully with this sort of support background, it'll be a lot easier for the recommendations to work in the business. I've got a primary, which is the gluten and wheat intolerant market. Now, these are a very dedicated market. It's when they find somebody that can supply the food, that they don't get sick, and they can eat well, they're very loyal. So I find that hairdresser that you want, you know, that you love, that they know how to cut your hair. You don't want to let go of them. And so for me, it's been an interesting situation that every customer doesn't, you know, it's not like they've got lots of options. You know, if this is what they need to eat, and there's 20% of the population that are a little bit more restricted with what they can eat. I mean, I could stand here for 3 days to, you know, explaining why and how, but basically that's it. You find that dedicated customer base, and the interesting thing what I found is that Tess very kindly built a website for me. You know, specials don't work with this kind of customer base. And when Tess just showed very briefly the Christmas campaign, I was offering a free tub of, you know, these organic breadcrumbs so that you can have gluten-free fabulous breadcrumbs and stencils. Now, when people went online and we gave them the tub when they purchased and they came in the pack, they go, oh, that's lovely. I didn't know I was getting that. Like, they are so focused on the fact that I provide a very special food for them. Specials do not work in this particular market, which is kind of interesting. This is the learning this is the information that I'm gathering at the moment. We have a secondary customer, which is the discerning, healthy conscious with a tendency to intolerances, prefer to eat less gluten and or a wheat, dairy and or refined sugar free. So when I first started, as I said, I created a kitchen that was dedicated. There's no wheat on the premises, just a lot easier. because the people that we look after are very, very specific and they can get quite ill as a result. But then we've also found that there's a big market of people that don't want to eat sugar, right? So therefore we were able to provide that food again. Now, all the things that you've tried today has no added refined sugar. It's got natural sugars, but no refined sugar. If you go to the supermarket, and most people know somebody who can't eat something, right? If you look at the back of the ingredients, sometimes if they take out one thing, they replace it with something else. So if it's low in fat, you can assure that it's very high in sugar. If it's low in sugar, it's also... So what I'm trying to offer something with healthier options. The third is those who want to eat well and seek out exceptional products, and those who prefer to eat naturally sweetened options as well. That's kind of... Sometimes people eat with their eyes. Sometimes people eat by recommendation. So obviously we've got to filter through all those areas. And for me, it's taking all those things that I know about my brand and how do I put this on a platform and how do I use Infusionsoft as a tool that I can use rather than using Infusionsoft to drive a business in a direction that I don't want it to go into, because I have to have my signature, you know. And obviously as I know more about how all this platform works, but as I said, I want to, I want to be very much in control of how they receive the information. And as I said, this is all about learning. It's about me learning. It's nothing to do with the programs that are available. Yeah. Okay, next one. Our core business is just to create and deliver high quality food. So therefore, how do I use these tools to make sure that that works for me? And the main thing is also too, we're about supplying, we're looking after communities of the customers we serve. So the whole focus is that this is the community I serve now, and how do I multiply that and grow my business without changing the quality and without changing the, I suppose, the care that's got to come across. So I think when we look at automating, you've got to be really careful that we don't lose that sense of, you know, who we are and what we're all about. Because for me, my daughter tells me we have a high opening rate. Is that right? What did you say?
Yeah, high opening rate.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, but she said you have a really high opening rate. I said, okay, that must be good. So all I'm saying is that for us as a business, that's how we want to nurture our business. And the next one. The other thing is it's about a brand identity. For me, it's the business that we run. It's about having a strong brand identity. People talk about our business, and it's very, very important, I suppose, is that our brand is more than a symbol or a phrase. It's made up of the business DNA. I've been doing this for a little while, and I think with brand businesses, every business has a DNA. And if we know what the DNA is, then we're able to grow it more, I believe, in a far more, we'll have less accidents, I suppose, in our growth, if I may say that. Also too, is I think the brand identity's vision is to be relevant, timeless, and memorable. For me, as I said, okay, today, you know, gluten-free is quite hip. It's really quite a thing to talk about and have. Now, when I first started, it wasn't hip, right? And someday in the future, it may not be, you know, they might find the miracle cure, the miracle pill that you can take, so therefore, you know, gluten-free is no longer relevant. However, if you make good food, and you make food that is desirable in taste, in quality, and in flavor, I think there'll always be a place for that. And that's the position that I want to. It needs to be timeless and not about just the fat. I mean, this is the business that I run, you know, and there are obviously other options as well in the business. It's imperative that our communication is consistent and coherent across all its dimensions. That's one of the things that, you know, I first came across Confusionsoft. It was presented to me back in April this year. And I loved about being able to do the I suppose, the consistency and the coherency, as I said, especially if I want to grow the business. The business has been in its infancy phase, and I'm about to kick it off in a growth phase. And I'm so super conscious to make sure that the growth is not awkward, hopefully. Everything that acts with this in every aspect serves to express it. So therefore, you know, when I'm considering a tool to bring it back into the business, if I'm considering staff, it has to reflect my values. It has to reflect the business in every way. And for me, when Infusionsoft was presented to me, I thought, wow, you know, this looks like a really quality product. I may not know how to handle it, but let's see. But I think this is something that I want in the business. Is the language of expression of our organization to the terms of its philosophy, behavior, actions, values, and products. So everything that comes in the business, at the moment, it's very humble. I don't mind. If it's big or small, it just has to be completely, I suppose, coherent, and it's got to express the brand. And for me, as I said, I run a brand business. I don't, hopefully the dollars follow, but it is about a brand. And I need to be able to be quite distinctive. Over the years, of course, I've seen more and more players. Well, my business hasn't gone down. If anything, it's grown. And I think that's about having a brand identity, because otherwise it's like, you know, if there's 500 options of breads or gluten-free, why would they choose one? If you don't stand for something, it's so easy for customers to move around. Yeah. Okay, preparing to scale up. Okay, this is one of the products we make. We make a fabulous lemon meringue. Pretty hard to resist, whether you're 4 or 40. So our business has had a very humble beginnings, I was saying, and it has organically grown from word of mouth. Now, we're an organisation that we've never advertised, ever. Right? Everything's been word of mouth. The whole business has grown because somebody says, oh, I wish you would make this, I wish you'd make that, or could you do this, could you do that? And as a result, they get so excited and they tell all their friends and their family, and people would come across and they go, oh, I wish you were in Perth because my mum can't get anything like this. You know, why aren't you in New York? Why aren't you in London? You know, and that sort of thing, which is very encouraging. It has survived the infancies away from the e-world. So any learning experience that we've made has not been on the e-platform. It's not been on Facebook. It hasn't been. It's been away. So we've continued. Now we have entered our growth phase. The challenge now is the scaling up and growth management in respect of the business vision, our brand identity, and fiscal management. So for me, it's all about the growth phase and scaling up, and that's sort of it comes with its own excitement. I'm sure a lot of the consultants are in the room. I mean, you've obviously helped businesses scale up. For me, it's like, well, this is a new journey for me. Okay, why infusion? So more specifically now, I suppose in thinking and why the brave step into infusion, for me it's about future pacing. At the moment, I could probably exist. I could grow the business successfully to a point without actually having anything like Infusionsoft. I mean, it's an added expense for me per month, and gosh, I'm still learning how to use it. So why now? It's all about future pacing communication and marketing needs. Infusionsoft offered our business a total and long-term solution and CRM. I'm looking for the long term. Okay, right, for the long-term infusion, and including things like online shop. That's obviously, I thought, wow, that's how I can get more products into people, and we've obviously got a strategy for how we're going to work that. Wholesale ordering. I mean, we do supply people like Tetsuya. We supply not because we've knocked on their door, not because we created a campaign that attracted them. They came to us. We didn't go to them, and that's how the business has grown. So therefore, I'd like to encourage more of that. This is my DNA. This is the business DNA. I'm not going to change it. But how can I use Infusionsoft to increase that? The database management, of course, we had some database, we had emails, and I'm really, really pleased to know, to let you know that, of course, it's now in the system, thankfully for my VA over here. And of course, we're also looking at how we're going to grow with licensees and affiliate programs. I mean, that really captured my interest, even though I didn't know, gosh, how am I going to get there? What does it look like? But what's his name that did the presentation? When we were what was his name? The guy that presented.
Oh, Thomas.
Thomas. Sorry.
The owner of Infusionsoft.
No, not the owner, but
no.
Thomas was somebody. I don't know.
Jones?
It's Thomas.
Sort of a big guy.
No, he
he's
presented.
American.
Do you mean the guy that? Yeah, that one.
Thomas Black.
Yeah.
Well, he's the one that did the presentation that I was at, and the way he talked about the license, the affiliate programs. I thought, wow, this is fabulous. I can really see the whole business and how I can actually utilize Infusionsoft with thinking, and that it wouldn't run away. Anyway, that's the thinking. For Infusionsoft challenges at the time of purchase, I have to say I went into overwhelm for a whole month. Okay, I was very excited about the presentation, got the program, got my list of coaches that were assigned to me. I had this lovely lady that, was going to call me from the US. Fabulous, I thought, fantastic. Then the reality hit. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what have I got myself involved with? I'm really good at what I'm doing, and here am I embarking in this version that was just really quite challenging. So anyway, next slide. I thought that was a fabulous image. So therefore, I suppose is that I needed to take myself from Infusionsoft to Infusionsoft. It was total confusion, I have to say. So my 180-day journey, now I'm into my 40 days or so, and I'm still in confusion. So in March, I was introduced to Infusionsoft at a seminar. I embraced the concept. It came with a 1-1 presentation, in April, so a month later, just total overwhelm. Then, of course, I had to get out of overwhelm. Between May and August, I actually scheduled the online coaching. I had to recruit. I could not do it myself. I mean, I had to recruit a VA. I recruited my daughter. I thought, well,
even I was confused, so I had to learn it really quickly.
Okay. However, by September, we had built an online shop and sorted out the database. In October, we launched our first campaign, and since then, we've also launched our second campaign. So I've done that in 180 days. But I suppose the reason why I want to share you the timeline is because it took a little while to get into gear. And I suppose if there was anything I could share with you right now is to say that, in such a respect of such a sophisticated piece of equipment, and sometimes, because some of you are doing it all the time, you take it for granted that, oh gosh, that's how I do it. It's for me, it's like, we do fabulous lamingtons. People go, do you know how hard, I try to do lamingtons, do you know how hard it is? I'm thinking, what are they talking about? We do it really quickly and we do batches of them, but, or meringue, they go, how do you pipe that meringue? I'm thinking, what are they talking about? That's so simple, you just do this, So I can really appreciate, and I just want to share with you, as I said, for someone who's such a novice, it was such a big thing. But however, once we get over the overwhelm, things started to fall into place. It's still not, it's not easy, but it's, it's falling into place. So there was light there. Key learnings and milestones. This is something that I actually asked Tess, and I said, look, put a few words to it. Did you want to have a quick talk about the milestones? Or?
Yeah, well, I think that it really required a lot more investment and time in learning how to use Infusionsoft than we first realised. I think the perception was that, you just get it,
watch
set
some
it up
videos.
Watch some videos, and then, it's all hunky-dory from there. But no, it really requires a lot of time and energy. And I'm running my own business, and I'm working my own marketing job at the moment, and so I didn't have time to spend hours working it out. So eventually I said to Mum, look, I need to hire a VA. So we tried to hire a VA, and then the back and forth emailing and trying to get the VA to do what we wanted them to do wasn't quite what we wanted. And then now I'm looking at finding an Infusionsoft specialist to kind of guide us with the whole thing. I think that's what it's going to come down to in the end.
I suppose that the journey, as I said, I capture this as 180 days. This is the 188 days journey. And to be able to get to this point, I'm really quite excited because in my case, there have been a few milestones. I've been very, very cautious of not losing the business in the process of sort of, having something wonderful. However, the thing is that here, I suppose, is that we're talking about, even with hiring a VA to do what you need them to do for you, for the things you can't do, you still have to be incredibly clear with your brief. Because depending on the type of BVA you actually hire, they could be just an implementation person. So you've got to say, jump 6 inches and then go to the left and then go to the right and then run straight across to the back of the room. Right? What I'm trying to say, so if you order a VA, there are VAs that will only respond to a very specific detailed brief of what you want. And so for us, we needed to know a lot more to be able to brief that action. And because we didn't, it meant that by the time we sorted out the brief, it was easier for us to do it, or to the level that we could. So I suppose part of the process here is that we've taken Infusion, we've started, we've had the coaching, we've set up the shop online. It's fabulous. I'm so excited about the online shop. It's created a whole new, for us, as I said, we deal with very specialized products. So, it's brought up a new customer base to us. We've sent out our first newsletter. Was it newsletter, Tess? Is that the right terminology? What did we sell at the first campaign? Okay,
newsletter.
And the other thing, of course, I have to say, that for someone who starts with it, all the terminology, you've got to be able to. I need a dictionary. I think if anybody would like to create a little dictionary, to sort of saying all this wording, all this jargon, so it's okay. Well, this means this and this. I'm lost. I keep saying that.
Yeah, but when Mum would brief me, I would have to question her, okay, so what do you actually mean about this and that? Because her version of newsletters means something completely different. It's it's just the jargon. Yeah, that thing. Can you do that thing? What do you mean? And so when I got a VA to help put up the new Christmas products onto the shop, actually the shop completely broke down. I was like, oh my god, this is a disaster. And then so I had to go back and forth and get that fixed. And it was like I ended up fixing it myself. I was like, oh, just don't worry.
Can I ask a question? Where did you go for help?
Where did I go?
To find, for example, this...
Oh, I actually posted a question in Jake's group.
Yep.
And we found a company called...
whatever the company was. Yeah.
It was a company.
Company X.
Onshore or offshore?
Owned by Carl Taylor, I think. I don't know what it's called.
Okay.
I don't know. Sorry, I've
Was
forgotten.
it a good experience or a bad experience?
It was a learning experience.
Like the customer...
Will you use them again?
No. like the the customer service was really good, and you know the owner of it was very helpful, and he got on the phone with me and tried to sort it out, but he couldn't sort it out.
So you wouldn't use them here?
No.
I suppose the learning here is the fact that, you know,
sometimes cheaper is not always best.
Yes.
Always cheaper is not better. We've trained we've actually got Filipinos certified. They've done their exams.
Oh, okay.
And we have got customers that insist on using them, but we've never been able to successfully use an Infusionsoft VA, and we are 1%, the top 1% of Infusionsoft users globally, and we can't get it to work. So that's why I'm interested to know the thought process that goes behind, you know,
hiring somebody.
We need help, so let's get help.
I used to be a VA, so I mean, I'm now doing online business coaching, but my previous career was doing VA stuff, so I understand like how it all works. So when I was hiring a VA, I was like, it's quite interesting.
I think one of the big problems with the VA, the thing that I've come across over and over again, is that WordPress development or general web dev or anything else, a resourceful person offshore can get those tools, put the time in, and become self-taught. But the price of Infusionsoft is enough of a barrier to entry that the way that VAs in the Philippines learn that platform is that they get the job and learn on the job, and then ditch that job and find another. So they don't have the exposure in the same way that they have to the WordPress codex or other stuff, and they cannot afford to go to the US and attend conferences and stuff.
Well,
and I think is the gap.
when I was searching for the VA, I made sure, I said, can you do these specific tasks with Infusionsoft? And it's like, yeah, sure, that's fine.
But it's not the laying bricks, it's being able to lay the bricks and put the concrete between them.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry for
No, that's okay. I suppose the part of the no. Well, so am I. But I suppose is that for me, it's all about learning experience.
And we see this over and over again. Is we tried this, we did the Kickstart, we got overwhelmed, we almost fired it, but then we decided we'd do one campaign, we got someone off Elance, and by the time we described it to them, we realised that we could build it ourselves, so we put this little web form on the website, and then leads started coming, and then we decided we weren't going to give up, and then we did the next thing, and then we went to America and went to the Icon conference, and then all of a sudden, you know, then they're using it. But they had to go through all that heartache, and I'm trying to work out how do we stop the heartache.
Absolutely, and I suppose, and the thing is also to me is part of the presentation. What I want to get across is that this is our journey. This is our 180 days to get to this point. And for me, as I said, you know, I'm a specialist. Now, I'm a specialist in what I do. Okay, I can talk to you. I can run a 3-day conference or a 3-month conference or a 2-year course on how to get the best gluten-free product and why and how and what you should use, etc., etc. But I'm not going necessarily interested in being an expert in Infusionsoft, but I'm interested to actually obviously work with people to be able to get that expertise and be able to deliver what it is that I need. I mean, I need to be able to provide a clear small brief or a brief, I don't mind if it's a detailed brief, and get a result. Because some of the things that, again, as I said, you know, I still go back into the journey that my customers have. I want to make sure that the journey, whatever it is that's going behind the scene, that's fine, right? But what goes out in front, for my customer, their journey has to be super. Now, this is a website that I've created, and I'm sorry, I'm not crazy about my face. That you created, I beg your pardon, Tess. Tess created.
So she still has issues about being seen online. She doesn't.
I mean, you're behind the
person. She didn't want me to use that photo, but I insisted.
Can you? All right, get it right. Okay, so what I'm trying to say with the website that we created, just go down back to it. You know, we're about people's business. So I want to make sure the website was very warm, and you know, if you see that little person thinking about it, it's all about, you know, when people are in gluten-free, they worry about, you know, am I going to be okay? Is this going to be good? You'll be amazed at how many questions that people get asked. You know, so I wanted to make sure that the website experience was a warm one. Just move on to maybe to a campaign or something or that you've done.
A blog?
A blog, that'll do. Sorry? Yes, of course.
You've got a Facebook page.
Yes, we do.
Because there's this thing now called, released last week, Connect Leads, where they hit sign up and you suck all the information, their date of birth, their marital status, everything out of their Facebook profile straight into your Infusionsoft.
Amazing.
For Connect Leads. Unbelievable.
Okay, so this is
that's okay. Sorry, I think.
Is that the Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay, because it's on, yeah.
So that, and
Yeah.
we'll go back.
So what we do, as I said, we do have a Facebook, and the thing is that for us at the moment is that we haven't bought customers. All our customers have been genuine people that deal with us. They're our customers. They put up comments and nice comments on us. They do a lot, as I said. One of the things that we've started doing with having the online shop, they're bloggers in the world of gluten-free. They've written something about us, and then their followers have gone online, which otherwise I wouldn't have actually got this business. So
These
what are we showing?
Different markets that we.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment we have market presence in different places, and what I do is I actually use most of my customers pre-order. So it's like going to the market, but they actually pre-order. So everything that's made fresh has already been pre-sold by the time they hit the market. Yes.
2 questions.
Yes.
Are you going to give those bloggers an affiliate link to you so that you can track?
Sorry, what was that?
Are you going to give the bloggers affiliate link so you can?
Yes.
That's something that we want to learn how to do.
And are you using just the Infusionsoft e-commerce module,
Are we?
or are you
Where's
using
the
WordPress?
The shops here. I set
Is
it.
the shop
On
like
Infusion?
Facebook or
Yeah,
is
Infusionsoft.
Infusion?
It links to the Infusionsoft
Yes.
shop.
So we have got all their data of their purchases and stuff like that. We've got a record of it. This was the Christmas, the part of the online shop that was Christmas. So we through the Infusion, what I really like is that we've segmented. I mean, these things are meaningful to my customer base. They want to know whether it's dairy free, they want to know whether it's egg free, they want to know whether it's those sort of things. So.
So the reason I ask is if you're
Yes.
using the Infusionsoft e-commerce module,
Yes.
setting up those affiliate links, I can
Yes.
show your daughter how to do it in about 5 minutes.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
If you're using Shopify or
No.
WooCommerce, it would be a little
We're
bit
just
harder
using
to track.
PayPal. It's just linked to PayPal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I s-
Yeah.
Yes,
Why is it 27 or 27 cents?
because it's got GST on it.
Oh,
It's
So what actually happens is that's the actual price.
She's
but
very
when they
specific, calculating all the prices, making sure.
yeah, only because in my world I have to be sort of
So that's
calculated.
inclusive?
That is non-inclusive. You've got to add GST because people expect food in Australia to have GST on it, right? So therefore I can't just charge because otherwise it upsets the.
Can't you display the inclusive price?
I don't believe so. I think it. Can you?
Is that one of the limitations that Infusionsoft shopping cart has?
I don't know, but I went to the shopping cart and
I
it
tried to set
showed.
it up as simply as I could. If I
Version 1 is better than version none. This is awesome, but yeah, you can absolutely bundle it up.
Oh, is?
and like even with the when people set up insert their billing information, I wanted to kind of customize that.
That's a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But
That was-
no, for you it's a CSS.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean-
but yeah, it can be totally.
Yeah. I mean, there's things like, for example, maybe because we went at the back and it showed, for example, something like a beef pie, because you actually buy them, because you've got to do something with it before, it doesn't have GST. So, I know it's insane. I know, but what I'm saying is, so certain products have no GST. Some products do. For example, bread doesn't.
Yeah.
Pies doesn't because you've got to do something with it before you eat it.
It's
So
not awesome.
no, you've got to put it in the oven and finish cooking
It's
it.
like at the supermarket dog. Have you ever seen a supermarket dog?
Yeah, yeah.
There's some inclusive and some.
I know.
So
So
pies aren't GST.
they
Why
know
is-
because.
why is that in the
Until they
sweet and
raise the
savoury?
base.
And is that a cooked
Got
pie
sweet
or
and
is that a
savoury.
raw pie?
Well, it's not raw, but it's got to be heated.
I mean the things that anyway, so we've had to follow the code, if you like, and we've done photographs, and what I'm saying is it works. I mean, these sort of things are important to my customer base. They want to know whether there's gluten-free, wheat-free, soy-free, yeast-free, canola-free. These things are very, very important to the customer base I look after anyway. So so that gives a bit of a version. Do you want to go on to the next one?
Yeah, then slide.
Yeah, go back to that.
Yep, sorry.
That's all right. How are we going for time,
Yeah,
Richard?
this is the last. This is
Okay.
the last.
So the outcomes in 190 days. So I suppose very simply is that we've got our database sorted by territory, and it works. It's very exciting about that. For the first time, I've actually got the database sorted. The online shop is up and running, and it works, and people pay. I suppose I click in the morning. Oh, there's a few more orders. This is great. And they've paid for it, which is fabulous. It basically means that I won't give them the wrong change when when there's a flood of people in front of us. Campaign 1 was done. I mean, basically we just send out. What did we send out, Tess, for campaign 1? We basically let everybody know that we're now online, and we had a good opening rate because they've never received anything from Silvia, so they go, wow, it must be worth opening up and see what's going on here. And then the second campaign was to let them know that what Christmas goodies they have, and then please order online, and etc. And then of course we're about to send a third campaign. that basically tells them, you know, what are the pop-up specials, because we do pop-up specials as well. So, because one of the things I found is that when I talk to customers about online, they go, but you do something special. Sometimes they love the idea of the little special things where they rock up. So I said, no, that they'll still be up. So therefore I made sure that we had the pop-up specials in a campaign as well. The milestone benefits are yet to come. Look, really, as I said, we've only just scratched, what would you say, 0.5%? 0.001% of what Infusionsoft can do. So the exciting thing is that, you know, as I said, there's so much more we can do with it. And we can create, we've created the path so these things can happen. I mean, we've got the program, we're there for long run, we'll get there. The focus has been to be proactive in future pacing our CRM needs so as we can build that muscle in readiness. You know, the business is still very humble, still very small, and hopefully, as I said, we can actually plan and just work each step of the way. The goal is to get really good at using this tool so we can go from Infusionsoft to Infusionsoft mastery, whether it's outsourced or otherwise. Okay.
Oh, there's 2 more slides. Sorry.
Oh yeah, 2 more slides. Sorry. The other thing I was going to say is that you know, why Infusionsoft, just to reaffirm, is to better serve the community. That's basically why I wanted to get the Infusionsoft. And there's only one more last slide. At the end of the day, is all about is a people business. So thank you for listening and staying tuned, and hopefully you'll be come across us again.
Does anyone have any questions?
Thanks for the food.
Yeah.
Oh, you're most welcome.
Do you want any more?
I suppose, yes.
Look, I've met with you.
That's right, yes.
And it's really good to see and meet you and how passionate you are about business. Congratulations to Tess in taking that and making it look the same way online.
Oh, thank you, yes.
Miss the human side of things. And they've got an online store and then they've got the other part of it and it's totally different. So congratulations, well done. And wherever you get the images done, the images are beautiful.
You know, believe me, those images are of my actual customers. They're images that we've actually taken. These are live images that we've taken. I mean, obviously that's a setup shot that we've done ourselves. That's actually sent by a customer. She moved to the States and she was getting married back in Australia, and these are some of her favourite products. So we coordinated creating her hen's party, her wedding cake, everything while she was in the States. And this is what I'm saying with our business, what's really special, she's coming home for Christmas. She hasn't been home for 2 years. You know what she does? The first thing she does, she emails me and she says, oh, gee, I'm coming home, but can I have such and such? And I said, great, I've got an online shop now. She goes, that's fabulous. So what happened was from the States, from LA, she actually sent her order online for her mum to pick up before she arrives, before Christmas Eve. So, I mean, that's the sort of thing that I get really excited, because the main thing for me is not to lose that connection with the customer, but to integrate technology in a way that it serves my customer, not to take away from what I do or for it to run away somewhere. That's a lamington that we do, and that's a photograph we decided because our lamingtons are really soft. They're like an old-fashioned lamington that your grandmother would have made, right? So it's really, you know, so we do those things. But that's a real customer. That's, as I said, Christine's husband, and she loves lamingtons. And these are actual product shops that we have.
And do you ship the item or they pick it up?
They pick it up. At the moment, as I said, we have a really humble business, and I'm just trying to take it one step. At the moment, what they do is that they go online, they order it, and they say which market they want to pick up at.
So with the billing information, I had to put like a little note saying, please, in the address bar 1, please write which market you want to go to. But
so we need to give you a drop down on the order form so they can pick a market.
Yeah, that would be really handy. I tried to get the VA person to do that, and then it just crashed the whole system for a few days, and
But I suppose that the thing is that, sorry, beg your pardon. Yes.
I was going to say, ultimately, when you start putting all of your own orders in there, as well as the customer orders, so you know when you do still take extra produce, can you then batch those orders so you know how to manufacture and how to produce?
Absolutely, because one of the things at the present moment, as I said, it's a very humble small business.
Do that batching? So
I believe.
This is what your run needs to look like.
I believe so.
You will run a fulfillment list, and you can basically generate a CSV with whatever fields in columns you want, and you can say run whenever this gets to 20, or run daily, or every 7 days. For more complicated customers, like we've got a delivery company that picks up fridges from Harvey Norman's all over the coast. They actually we set it up so Infusionsoft pushes to Google Sheets, and then those Harvey Normans can see their own sheet, and they can see the delivery times for the stuff that was bought yesterday and be quite sophisticated. So if you had a kitchen that needed to perhaps do a bit of number crunching on that order, you'd probably push it straight into a Google Sheet rather than just getting the CSV once a day.
I mean, these are all sort of things that I'm really excited. That's what I'm saying is, the whole idea of actually purchasing Infusionsoft, because I could see all these wonderful things that could happen, but at the present moment I can only bite one at a time not because of Infusionsoft, but because of obviously our own learning. Yes. So, yeah, but I mean, the idea is that what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to get wholesale orders through there. And as I said, as we expand our licensing programs, etc., I mean, obviously they will have their own dedicated area where we can get all this information.
But you really want to focus on licensing?
I do, but also, as I said, this is actually a part of the business. Yeah. But the things that Infusionsoft, I believe, have got the facility whereby as we grow and as we do all these different things, that it can all happen. But at the same time, as I said, for me, as long as the branding and as long as the heart is beating there, and then we can keep all that sophisticated back end there helping it, then that's fabulous. Yes.
The other thing is, like we classically see, is Infusionsoft is really, really good for version 1 and 2, and you can go, I need an e-commerce store and I need to launch it pretty quickly, so Infusionsoft will let you do that. Now, if the e-commerce goes nuts, you might later go, we actually need to go to something a bit more sophisticated because we need to do fulfillment, we need to manage wholesale, blah, blah, blah. And so at that point you go, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a true e-commerce, and then that will still talk really nicely with Infusionsoft, but Infusionsoft's e-commerce module got you to there and actually taught you all about e-commerce, so you were able to make an informed decision on the expensive platform when the time was right. That's what's cool about it. The same thing with the affiliate. The affiliate stuff's fairly simple, but if it really works, you'll be able to go, this is fine, or no, but we know how to make an informed decision on what's next. Yeah. It's such a cool place to start.
Integrated. Exactly. And for me, so I love the way how it integrates with Facebook and website. I mean, all these words I'm learning is thank you, Tess. Is that, for example, Tess did some interviews of some of my customers. And, as I said, I don't advertise. It's just a customer feedback and recommendation. And Tess created 3 podcasts for me. One, she interviewed a long-time customer and, her own experience about purchasing and what she looks for and all that sort of thing, and we all ask them what are the 3 keywords that sort of describe the product. I do that because it's really important that there's consistency, and if I think this is what I want for the customer, if they're experiencing the same thing, that's a good measure for me. And then a podcast of also a customer that sort of buys bulk because of her children and why, etc. So we can integrate all that, and that sort of helps to feed the online shop, which is absolutely fabulous. And I suppose the last thing I just want to say is there anything that I haven't covered that you may have a question that you want me to talk about?
I have a question about your branding.
Yes.
Is your branding the point of differentiation between you and your competitors, or do you have a product point of differentiation?
Well, basically, I suppose the branding, it's about, how can I say, it is my signature within the market I serve. So therefore, the market that I work in, I showed you the 3 customer base. One is that I'm the core business of people that need to eat wheat-free, gluten-free, right? So the branding is just sort of saying, well, okay, this is what I do, and this is who you go to if you want gluten-free products with this, and this quality. It also means that from someone who has experienced the food that I have, and they want to recommend to the customer, they know that, okay, it's not just gluten-free bread or organic. It is from Silvia.
So what you do the same as what all your competitors do, but
no.
What is it that you do that they don't do?
There's no competitors that do what you do.
Thank you, Tess. That's exactly.
I'm gluten intolerant, and I basically live off this food. I mean, for every birthday she serves a cake, and I never get sick of it.
So what I'm trying, this is sort of the feedback I want from my customers.
Sometimes it's nice to kind of, indulge in non-gluten.
I pay her for her VA services, but I do not pay her to promote me in this, but thank you, Tess. But I suppose the point of difference that I have is that we started a dedicated kitchen way back when people didn't really understand what gluten-free was all about, because I spent quite some time researching. I worked with the San Hospital. I tried to understand nutritionally what people that can't eat wheat or digest it, what they miss out on in terms of vitamins and minerals and that sort of stuff, what they can't digest. You'd be amazed at how much commercial products have got ingredients that a true person that cannot eat, a celiac, cannot digest particularly well. But
Let me just tell you something. Sylvia can actually taste a piece of bread and she knows who's made it. Who the person made it. The person. I'm not joking.
I mean, the thing is, it's a bit like if you're in the wine business. You pick up wine and you know where that wine comes from, what region. If you're into fashion and colour, you'd know where that fabric comes from. I mean, if I'm saying that my vision is to be an authority in this area, you know, I need to live and breathe it, I need to work with it. And so that's the point of difference that I've invested a lot into the back end, if you like, the engine behind a gluten-free business, ingredients, thickness of, I probably do that as people that have come into this business because they can see how, trendy it is at the moment. They wouldn't have had that opportunity to research a lot of that back end stuff. I also invested a lot in people, and I wanted to understand, my background is actually psychology, and I'm really keen to understand the people there from their own personal experience. What is it like when you are the only person at a wedding party, everybody gets these beautiful desserts and you get a fruit platter? How does that make you feel? Because it's very important to understand, I mean, the whole branding is about people understanding your customer base. Understanding.
She does mini tests sometimes at family dinners where she'll serve like a gluten-free lasagna and a non-gluten-free lasagna, and then like see if we actually can tell the difference. And usually we can't, which is pretty amazing. Yeah.
Because it's really, really important. I mean, one of the things that I learned, again, the point of difference is that when you understand your audience, you know, all they want, or your customers, all they want to do is to be able to eat food like everybody else. And it's usually about comfort food. It's about the things that we take for granted. It's bread, it's sausage roll, it's a pie, it's a pizza. All you want is a great pizza, but you want a fabulous pizza. You don't want something that someone brings out at the end, you know? And especially when you have desserts. I love it when customer says, you know, I even share it with my friends that, you know, can eat everything. Yeah. Oh, okay, that's it. Did I answer your question, Richard?
There's a question over here.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Your branding is really important to you, and your pictures and that are fabulous. So I'm curious, how do you send out your emails? Because that is, for me, the bane of my life in terms of making them brand.
Yes.
With a lot of awkwardness at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you explain the new email system, when the new email system is coming, which makes it responsive? Yes.
Yeah, probably not right now. We'll do it at the end. We've just got a bit more to get through, but we'll come back to it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah? Sure.
But thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope I've been able to share something of value. Thank you.
Thanks, Silvia.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But do you think a passion's contagious? That's quite amazing.
Great.
Well done. Oh, what time did it go? 7:41.
Sorry.
It's all right. Okay, I found out that people who come tonight are going to be given the 2015 Icon Library. So apparently I'm going to send you a link. Just so you know, when those emails go out, the notifications of upcoming meetings, my name's at the bottom, but I don't write them. So when something silly is said or doesn't make sense, just forward it to me and I'll try and interpret it for you. But one that came out the other day was the playbook for the 2015 Business Icon. I had to go back and say, how do they get this? So you'll get, I'll be sending you an email with the link for a form that you fill out and you'll get that for free. The value, I think, is $195 from memory.
So is it the same as the videos from last year? Like
Yes.
Same.
Yes. But for this year.
Probably different people.
Yeah.
15 version.
Yeah.
14.
Exactly. Okay, the next one is I just want to hand this around. I think I ticked most people's names off. This is the attendance sheet. If you just go through and see the names on there, and that if it is that you ticked. Now, sometimes I cancel meetings like last month. I asked for the mobile number here as well, so that I can let you know at the last minute if there's any changes. If you don't want to be notified, just leave your mobile off. Okay, but it's not there for the marketing. Yes. Also, I'll be sending out a survey. Each year, at the end of the year, I send a survey out just to get your feedback about the user group meetings for the year and how we can improve on next year. So when you get that, if you take the time, I do read each and every one of them, but it'll only take you about a minute or two to fill it out. So, but if you can do that, that'd be greatly appreciated. You'll be asked questions like, what is your preferred day of the week for the user group meetings? Is it during the day? Is it at night? And is Monday night a good night, or would you prefer another night? And location as well. If this is too far from the majority of people, we can always move. So you'll be asked after questions as well.
Is that an Infusionsoft form?
No, I'll be sending it out. No, that'll be a SurveyMonkey.
Survey. Is that because you're not happy with the way that
Oh, yeah.
Infusionsoft
Yeah.
does?
Yeah, it doesn't do intelligent. based on your answers, this will then present. It doesn't, not good at that.
Does SurveyMonkey integrate back into?
Look, it
does
can.
now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It does now since Mercado opened up. Yeah. There used to be a bit of a so there is an ecosystem of developers that build integrations, but they're very much little backyard things and they're quite simplistic often. So if you wanted to do really smart stuff like do a big survey on someone about their first home mortgage and then give them a PDF where paragraphs are put in or not put in based on what they answered, and then push the data into Infusionsoft and tag them as prospects for particular products based on scores or sub-scores. You can't do that with Infusionsoft. You'd use a product called Dialoga, which would do it. So, but now there's more flexibility in which of those questionnaire platforms you can use.
So do I need Mercado first, then to employ SurveyMonkey to talk?
But Christy, will you be able to do a presentation on that next meeting about that particular
What
integration?
date is next meeting?
Well, that's one of my questions now is, January is always a bit of a struggle because our meetings are normally the second Monday of each month, but that may be too early for people that are not coming back from holidays yet. So what I want to know is, Monday the 11th, is that too early for people? If it is, we'll make it the following week. What? Is anyone away on holidays on the 11th or?
Of January.
Yeah,
Oh wow. So what's the next week after that date?
18th.
We're going to have a day then?
I can't do the 18th,
You
but
can't
you
do that
guys
then?
go on ahead.
Well, you're going to present, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm running a workshop in Melbourne.
yeah, if you can't, you can't, but we'll take advantage of it as we
So
can.
that I can go riding in the Alps afterwards.
Alright, so what's the feeling, 11th?
Did you want to ask everyone about is Monday still the best day?
Monday works for me.
Yeah, for now, Monday, until I get the survey out and get everyone's
okay.
response.
The 11th sounds
Alright, well that's clear as mud.
I was going to say, but why don't we look at the last Monday of the month? Or is that too close?
Yes, too much closer
Yeah.
next month, so it needs to be the 11th or the 18th at the very latest.
Usually right.
Mm.
Why don't we just push it off hand?
Yeah, 18th? 11th?
I don't care.
Again. Half and half. I might put it on Facebook and people can vote there, I think. We'll do it that way. And Chris, if it is the 11th, no, because what happens, the January meetings are very low attended. They really are. That's why I'm not keen to do them too early if people aren't here.
Do you want to all vote properly now? We'll just work this out now. So Facebook.
That's
Who
fair.
wants the 11th? Who wants the 18th?
I vote for it.
There's more than 11. There you go.
Alright, so those people said the 11th, I expect you here. That's just enough to justify the meeting.
So you can still present, Chris.
Yay!
Excellent. Alright, that's done. I'll check to see the rooms available. Alright, next one is move on to Peter's presentation. Peter,
Can I just plug this into the
no?
You projector? You forget.
Hang on.
Oh,
Just hang on.
William.